Hello.
How are you doing today?
I'm very well, thanks. How are you?
Absolutely fantastic, and very excited to talk with you because you have proved to the world that you can face a mountain mentally or physically and get over it no matter how jagged the edges are. And I'm so proud of you.
That's very kind. Thank you very much. It's great to chat to you too.
One of the things that you're proving to people is that there are challenges that we face every day. How were you able to make your way through those challenges in order to accomplish?
I think a number of things. I think previous experience, I think the more things you overcome, you move that barrier of resilience up. So I think challenging yourself in life is an important tool to be able to face future challenges. Also, for me, having a great support network around me, having a reason to face down those challenges is important. I've got an amazing, loving family and partner and friendship group, and that became pivotal during my recovery after my accident.
You're absolutely right about that. All the experiences that we have, you put them to work. Because I recently tore my rotator cuff, and the doctor goes, "Oh, we're gonna have surgery." I said, "Oh, no, we're not. We're gonna work on this on my level, and we're gonna stay away from that knife." And that's kind of what you proved as well. It's like everything that you've ever learned, you put to work.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and actually, the tougher the stuff you go through, as long as you get through it to the other side, that's what causes that's what creates the building blocks that end up being who you are, your strength of character. Like the wins are nice cherries on top, or the icing on the cake, but it doesn't change your character. You know, it's actually the tough times that do. So having faith in that when it is times do get tough, having faith that it will come back the other way and take the learnings from them, that's where the real strength is.
The documentary and movie we're talking about is The Mountain Within Me. I would love to watch this in my VR goggles because, man, those cameras are up close and personal.
Yeah, there's some pretty epic mountain scenery in there. Like the story isn't just about mountaineering, but it forms, it's become my life, adaptive climbing, and there's some pretty epic stuff in there. So I'm sure if there was a VR option, that would be a good one to take.
Are you going to take this to a speaking tour? Because, I mean, you say so many things during The Mountain Within Me that it's like, oh, my God, I would love to be sitting in a room with him when he shares that.
Do you know what? I do a fair bit of speaking, but I'm based over here in the UK. I'd love to come to the States and do more for sure. So maybe if the film goes as well as we hope, you might see me over there on a speaking tour. So stay tuned.
What did you find in your past that actually became fuel for your positive present?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I think being a professional athlete for 10 years obviously gave me a lot of tools to help deal with what I went through. It's a bit of a roller coaster being a professional sports person. Selections, injuries, week by week, you've got to deal with wins or losses. So also recovering from something like this is spending hours and hours and days and weeks and months and years in a physio room doing physical exercise. So that wasn't completely alien to me either. So I think being a professional athlete helped for sure. But the tools I've learned from the actual accident help me massively to this day. And most of it is around a sense of perspective. So before it used to take quite a lot to make Ed, the rugby player, happy. Man of the match awards, new contracts, all of these sorts of things. Now, just being able to walk down the stairs or brush my own teeth makes me happy because I lost that for a while. I had to contemplate life without that. Being able to walk makes me happy. So that bar has shifted quite a lot. So my average level of gratitude from day to day is now a lot higher, which means in general, I'm more positive.
Speaking of rugby, oh my God, rugby really got some big numbers when it came to the Olympics this year. So man, I think that game is about ready to take off big time.
Yeah, I hope so. I think it's been teetering in the US for quite a long time, and it would be nice for it to break through over there because it's a great sport. And I know most people in the US, they like their contact sports. They obviously love their football as well. So it's just another version of that, just a little bit shorter. So I hope so. I hope so.
One of the things that I wanted to ask you about The Mountain Within Me is the fact that it almost sounds like you take incredible notes. You ask yourself the questions, and then you question yourself to find out, how can I get deeper? How can I become more knowledgeable? Do you keep a written journal?
I do, yeah. I do keep a written journal, and I had done since hospital. So the reason this film came about actually was based off a blog I kept, which then got turned into a book. Nice. And then basically someone from Universal ended up reading the book and decided it could be a film. So who knows? Keep a journal. You never know where it might end up.
So true, so true. And one of the things that's very inspiring about what you have done is that you've made sure that this wasn't about you, that it's about how can somebody else learn from what you have gone through. That takes a lot of courage.
I mean, that's everything, right? I mean, if you can't pay it forward, what's the point? I was helped so much by other people that inspired me, who have been earlier on in my journey, and now I take great pride and I'm very humbled by the fact that I might be able to have a positive impact on someone's life, whether it be through our charity or through the film or mentoring people. I felt the benefits on the receiving end, so now to be able to pay that forward I'm really humbled by it. It's a really privileged position to be in.
To be injured like you were, I got to compare it to something that I went through with the rotator cuff, and that is when your body part doesn't want to talk to the rest of your body. How did you deal with that inner silence? Because it's been driving me crazy.
It's very strange, especially when, there's certain parts of me that are paralyzed and literally sending them the messages and nothing's happened. It can be very frustrating. I think it's just perseverance. Like, you just got to stick it out. Sometimes, the cards you dealt can be a bit annoying and rubbish and frustrating, but I always found that when I was in a more positive headspace, focusing on the things that I could do rather than the things that I couldn't, my body would actually recover in accordance to that as well. So I think that mind-body link is really, really powerful. So, I mean, it can be frustrating. I've had so many injuries to rugby. Breaking my neck, having my neck operation was actually my 9th operation by the age of 28, because rugby is quite a silly sport. Don't persuade your kids to play it. Just go and watch it. Let the pros do it. Let the pros do it and hurt themselves. But and through all those rehabs, that's the lesson I learned. It's like you have to focus on the positives. There's no point beating yourself up because your body's not acting in the way it should. Because if I was frustrated by that every day, I'd spend the whole day miserable, because I'm very much still affected by my spinal cord injury.
Yeah. You know how we crazy Americans are. We see a show like this, The Mountain Within Me, and we sit there and go, oh my God, we've got to get this guy on Dancing with the Stars. Would you say yes or no to something like that?
I'd rather climb another 8,000 meter mountain, to be honest. No, honestly, my dancing capabilities are terrible. They always have been, but at least now I've got an excuse.
Where can people go to find out more about you and to be inspired by everything that you're sharing with the world?
Yeah, so most of my stuff is documented through my social handles, which are Ed Jackson 8. But the film is obviously released next week on digital platforms in the US to rent or buy, so August the 20th. So I hope people watch it there, and then get in touch and let us know if you liked it or not.
Absolutely. Please come back to this show anytime in the future. Ed, the door is always going to be open for you.
I appreciate that. Lovely to meet you.
Well, you be brilliant, okay?
Thanks, mate.